Hello and welcome to all Gold viewers from around the world. I'm Kristen Schwartz, licensed midwife and MC here at Gold. And here at Gold, I have a special guest with me coming up for our Gold Lactation Conference here. It's Kathryn Stagg. Welcome back, Kathryn.
Oh, thank you for having me. Very exciting.
Very exciting to have you back here at Gold. It feels just like yesterday you were here, but it's been a little bit.
Yep.
So it's wonderful to have you here. Of course, you will be presenting in the GOLD Lactation Online Conference this year. And your presentation title is Don't Let Us Fool You, Breastfeeding in Late Preterm and Early Term Babies. Sounds interesting and fascinating. Can't wait to talk to you about this. But before we get started, Kathryn, before we dive into the topic, for our viewers who have not yet met you, first of all, where in the world are you?
I am in Harrow in northwest London in the UK.
Fantastic. Do you see any signs of spring yet? Or is it still?
A little bit. It keeps trying, and then we get a big gale force wind and another few, flurries of snow and things like that. So it's sort of, yeah, I think it's imminent, another week, hopefully.
Imminent. The hope is there, right? So Kathryn, tell our viewers also a little bit about your professional background here, and you're also an expert in feeding multiple. So tell us also about that as well, please.
Yep. So I'm a mum of twins. So when my twins were born, they are now just about to turn 18 at the end of April. Ooh. So I'm almost done as a parent. I'm almost finished. Not really, we know, but
never finished, right?
Never finished, no. But yeah, it's quite a milestone to get to, I think. So yeah, back when my twins were little, I was really lucky and had some really good breastfeeding support. I managed to breastfeed both of them and such like, and got the chance to train as peer supporter. And so did that and started to volunteer locally and sort of help lots of mums to breastfeed their babies. And of course, because I was a twin mum, anybody who had twins was sent straight to the group that I used to go to. And I used to also help, run our local twins club as well. So so basically that's how I got into this. So I'm total non-healthcare professional background. So I came through that and then went into breastfeeding counsellor training, just basically because I got so interested in it and I wanted to learn more. So I decided to sign up and do my breastfeeding counsellor qualification with the Association of Breastfeeding Mothers. And basically sort of volunteered for them for about the last 10 years now as well. And, done all sorts of stuff really. And then set up a Facebook group to help support multiple birth families. And of course, many of them are born a bit early. And that's where this talk has come from, because there seems to be rather a gap in knowledge possibly, and certainly a lot of people seem to struggle with establishing breastfeeding when their babies are born at this gestation. So that's where the idea for the talk came. And I run a little small practice, private practice, lactation consultant. I've qualified 5 years ago now, so I've just done my recertification, which was trying to navigate the new system was interesting. We got there, it was okay.
Yes.
So yeah, just recertified, and yeah, it's all good. I really love being a lactation consultant. It's just fantastic, very rewarding. So
very rewarding, and you have been such an expert in this field of feeding. Yeah, this is your book. You were so kind to send us some copies that we can give away to our viewers here at the conference. This one is titled Breastfeeding Twins and Triplets, a guide for professionals and parents, that you authored. So you're quite the expert on that. So first of all, thank you for sharing this book and that we can give away to our viewers. But tell us a little bit about the book as well, Kathryn.
So it's really my head emptied into, well, firstly onto a computer, then someone else helped me make sense of it. So I got a lovely proofreader who was helping me slightly as well. So yeah, it's the culmination of really, I've been supporting twin and triplet families for probably about 16 years now, getting on for 17 years actually. First as a peer supporter, and then breastfeeding counsellor, and then through the online support, and then as a lactation consultant as well. So just had lots and lots of experience, and there's various barriers that we find for establishing breastfeeding, and one of the biggest ones is this kind of late preterm and early term birth is one of the hardest things about it. Actually, it's even more so than having more than one baby and milk production and all this sort of stuff, it's just a really difficult, time to be born if you're trying to establish breastfeeding. It's just really difficult.
Yeah.
So and I wanted to I got given the opportunity basically to write a book, and it's not something I've ever done before, and it was incredibly daunting, and it did take me quite a long time, and but it's there now and it's out, so I'm very happy. And it was a bit like, oh my goodness, it's out in public now. It's only just been released. It's only last month that it's been released. So yes, it's all very new. So
hot off the press.
Hot off the press, exactly.
Hot off the press, and you shared it with us here. And what a lovely resource it is for families of multiples. Okay, and also let's talk about your presentation here. You mentioned it earlier about the breastfeeding in late preterm and early term babies. So what are you going to talk about in this particular presentation here?
Just the difficulties really around how they can appear to be, full term and sort of healthy and breastfeeding, but they're not really. And it's actually quite difficult to assess unless you're quite experienced at assessing, sucks and swallows and latching and such like. It's actually quite difficult sometimes to actually tell whether they are feeding well or not. And often we find that they're sort of treated like full-term babies and discharged home from hospital quite quickly, and then they either lose a load of weight or they don't put on enough or whatever, and they end up either going back into hospital again or having to top up with formula, or so it's just trying to talk about the ways that we can hopefully improve those early that early period and hopefully get it working better, and sort of less problematic with because we end up with ongoing supply issues and things like that because of this slightly inefficient start. So just trying to get everything going really, really well in those first few weeks, because it's just there's quite a lot of research around the fact that they're just more likely not to breastfeed if you have a baby of that gestation and not be able to continue. So yeah, that's basically what it's about.
I think this is a very, very valuable presentation, because you're so right. Your babies are released early, and just because they're going home, it doesn't mean they're like fully there yet as full term, but parents always assume that because they're thinking, oh, we're being sent home, everything is great now, everything is wonderful. Well, but the little one is quite not there yet, and has its challenges. So I feel like this is so well needed, because I feel like, parents need that support and often don't realize that they need that support until they really, until they're there in that situation, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's often, then it's much harder to get it back once it's, so trying to mitigate for those circumstances and plan for them. A lot of parents don't, and I've posted quite a bit about this on my social media account over the years, let's say, the last couple of years, especially Instagram, and I've always have people going, I now understand why it was so hard. And it was literally when they first read what I wrote and they went, oh, and nobody had mentioned it to them, and no one had, and it's just like, and 3 or 4 weeks down the line it starts to work more easily. That's because they're full term, by then. So
right, exactly. So, well, fascinating stuff. Kathryn, I can't wait for the presentation. I feel like we can learn so much from you there, to be of better service for our parents, helping them with their little ones, assisting them in their breast and chest feeding journey. So I'm really, really excited about this. So thank you for coming in here today, Kathryn, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at the GOLD Lactation Conference in just a few weeks or days. It's not that long anymore.
Not that long. No.
Not that long anymore. So thank you so much for coming in here today and chatting with me.
Brilliant. Thank you.
And now some information for our viewers as well. If you're interested in finding more about this presentation here from Kathryn Stagg, titled Don't Let Us Fool You, Breastfeeding in Late Preterm and Early Term Babies, and all the other wonderful presentations in the conference, go to goldlactation.com. We have international speakers, we have networking sessions, workshop style sessions as well. And of course, our big opening keynote will get started on April 3rd. That presentation is open access, so make sure you sign up for that and be part of the conference as well. And I hope to see everyone there at the conference. Thank you, Kathryn, and bye-bye, and bye, everyone.